slumping demand for gasoline in the States. I mean, they're still about 500,000 barrels lower in terms of demand than they were before the recession. Prices in the US market are coming close to record highs again. They're paying about $3.50 a gallon. It's only about 92 cents a litre, the equivalent of that, Canadian. But it's never got to $3.50 this early in the year before. So that's, I mean, it's very seasonal. Our next guest expects more pain at the pumps for U.S. consumers. He's Roger McKnight, Senior Petroleum Analyst at Enpro International. Great to see you.
Good morning.
I mean, the main reason for this high gasoline price we're hearing is just shutdowns of refineries, especially on the east coast of America.
Yes, in the Philadelphia area especially, and also we've had another shutdown of the Virgin Islands, which is really important gasoline source for the New York harbor. So basically, when I do all the math on the number of barrels being shut down, it works out to a million barrels a day. That's a lot of pull. So what's happening with gasoline prices is speculation is getting involved here to a certain extent. And I think they're quite correct this time, because you're taking 1 million barrels a day out of the market. How are you going to replace that? And to couple it even worse, Petroplus is the largest independent refiner in Europe.
And they've gone bust or bankrupt.
Yeah, there's 667,000 barrels a day out of the system as well. The reason that's important is the U.S. imports 1 million barrels a day of gasoline about this time of year. 1 million barrels a day imported.
Isn't a big part of this dynamic, though, that America is also turning into a major exporter of gasoline at other times of the year?
Yeah, well, they're exporting gasoline right now, and they have throughout the winter to Brazil and Mexico, believe it or not. Mexico is actually importing gasoline from the United States, whereas they have their own oil companies, so to speak.
Yeah, they're a giant oil producer,
That's
Mexico.
Right, that's
yeah.
right. Now, what the problem is, the reason I guess why gasoline prices are going up is because speculators are anticipating a shortage of 1 million barrels a day of production. The question is, why do they shut down? And why just east of the Ohio Valley? That's because the refineries east of the Ohio Valley have to use Brent crude, which is WTI plus $17.
That's their feedstock?
Yes.
How does that come into them?
It comes in through tankers and pipelines.
Into where? Into Montreal or?
Into Bangor, Maine.
Right, sorry, carry on.
Okay. So when your feedstock is WTI plus $17 a barrel, yet west of the Ohio Valley, your feedstock is WTI less $30 a barrel.
Much cheaper, yeah.
Then your input costs east of the Ohio Valley are astronomically higher than the west. So if ConocoPhillips had a refinery east of the Ohio Valley and one in the west, the one in the west would be making money, the one in the east wouldn't be making money, and you shut down the one in the east.
And this is all part of the big glut at Cushing.
Yeah, well, that's where the bottleneck is. Now we're getting really to where there's a solution to this. There was a solution to this 3 years ago, if the XL pipeline had been built then.
But just to be devil's advocate, doing that a lot today, but I mean, it looks like the big oil is quite happily exporting all kinds of gasoline and refined products from America, and that's why the prices are going up, and Keystone will just facilitate that.
Well, Keystone is important to especially to Canadian oil sands producers, because they're not getting a very good bang for their buck if you're getting discounted off of WTI. And the reason you're getting discounted is the bottleneck at Cushing. If you release that bottleneck at Cushing by TransCanada hooking up from Cushing to the Gulf, you'll raise the price of gasoline in the Midwest. Mm-hmm. You'll also improve the revenue for the oil sands people, and on a result, you could be refining the product in the Gulf, which is only running at 84% capacity, throw it on the Colonial Pipeline up to New York Harbor, and that would eliminate the need for importing 1 million barrels a day of gasoline from Europe.
At expense of Brent prices.
Exactly, and that would also lower the Brent price, raise the WTI price, so we don't have this big spread.
But the Americans, I mean, there's some talk, the Americans could hit $5 a gallon. I mean, that's an outlying. Really?
I can see that happening. I'm forecasting for the Canadian market, take a look at your pump price today, add 12 to 15% by the end of April. That would put Toronto prices from $1.27 today to between $1.43 and $1.47 a litre.
As a national average?
That's for Toronto. I can't do a national average because all the taxes are different.
Sure. Okay.
But that's an example.
Something to bear in mind, though, when we think about the U.S. consumer here.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks very much indeed for joining us once again, Roger.
You're very welcome.
Roger McKnight is Senior Petroleum Analyst at Enpro International. Now,